Hi, this is Adam Armstrong from SpecRite. Appreciate everybody joining today's webinar on the benefits of using a supply chain mobile app. Joining me from SpecRite is my colleague Victor Zapata.
How's it going, everyone?
And the plan for today is to spend a few minutes walking through some background on SpecRite, as well as the benefits of a mobile app, and then jumping into an actual demo of the SpecRite product, and finally at the end, opening it up to some Q&A. If any of you have questions throughout, please just type them in the menu option on the right side of your screen. Appreciate those that submitted questions and feedback beforehand. So jumping into it, SpecRite is a specification data management software that companies in consumer goods and manufacturing are using across various departments to take themselves from a lower tech environment to a more efficient, modern technology solution. And our founder comes from a packaging supplier background, and what he saw throughout his many years in the business is that when it came to collaboration and sharing documents and data between his customers and his partners, it was typically antiquated. Many of the customers that we work with, not everybody in the supply chain has access to the same information. Very often, specifications and supplier documents and key details become inaccurate over time, and ultimately, there's not the ability to make intelligent decisions, whether that's around cost savings or optimization. And so SpecRite comes in and aims to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I think just to add to Adam's points, really the lack of standardization to begin with for those specifications, whether it's product or packaging, from that low tech, lack of central solution, like he said, and then really the lack of accuracy because of those inefficiencies that happens.
Definitely agree with that, Victor. And I think what we've seen, especially with mobile app usage, is that so many people are on the go these days. Many people in various supply chain positions, whether that's quality assurance or procurement or engineering, are not at their desk a lot of the day. And so whether you're on a factory floor or traveling, having that mobile access, to increase that standardization in other areas is a major benefit. For those of you that do know a little bit about SpecRite, our background is in packaging, but we have rapidly grown to covering all types of products, and all the way down to the raw material and ingredient level up to finished goods and bill of materials. We'll definitely touch on some areas like bill of materials management today. The SpecRite software, the app that we're going to show you, is built on top of the Salesforce app clouds. A few notes on being built on top of Salesforce is that they're the fourth largest software company in the world now. They were founded in 1999, so it's very modern software that we're built on. We get a lot of positive feedback on the architecture and the interconnected data from a individual component, which may be an ingredient like flour, into the formula for a chocolate chip cookie recipe, into the finished good that includes the bill of materials with packaging and everything, out to various quality records, supplier data, etc. Being built upon Salesforce, there's also international infrastructure in place, so you can access SpecRite anywhere, and then there's pre-built integrations to various systems, which we'll get into more detail on later, but being built upon Salesforce makes it much easier to integrate with other software systems. The last point I want to make about SpecRite is about our support team. So for those of you that are looking for a new supply chain solution, and one of the barriers to entry is that you're busy, your team's busy. Typically, businesses in consumer goods and manufacturing are resource constrained. So we have a team of engineers and technical experts on the SpecRite software that help all of our customers customize the solution to meet their business processes and workflows, to match the templates to the desired data points that are most important for your business. And this team brings along with them the best practices from other customers we've worked with. A quick sampling of our customers. As you can see, it's a wide cross-section of various products and industries. Certainly, these customers are using SpecRite for different reasons, but certainly the growth of mobile access and use of the mobile app has increased over time, and would love to discuss further with any of you specific use cases from these companies that may be similar to you. Lastly, before jumping into the demo, the top 5 benefits that we've seen of the supply chain mobile app. The first is, like we talked about, you can access your data anywhere. The reality is that most people aren't sitting at their desk or at their computer all the time anymore, and it's inefficient to handwrite notes and then enter them somewhere later on. Being able to have that immediate access. The second is being able to get quick information. So you don't have to email Joe that's back in the office or call Nancy and ask her for a specific detail. You can just pull it up right on your phone wherever you are. The third is improving supply chain accountability. So having a software solution like SpecRite in place with mobile access and just from the desktop, being able to give access to everybody in the supply chain and them not having the reason to say, well, I couldn't get to it or I didn't have access to that information, by giving everybody access, everybody a location that they can get to that. You can do digital approvals. You can have suppliers sign off that they've shipped the correct product. You can have photos taken of product and packaging along the supply chain to verify accountability. Fourth is increasing speed to market. Kind of with the reasons up above all feed into being able to get your product onto shelves sooner, out to consumers faster. If you have to wait 3 days until you get back to your desk or back to the office, that's going to delay everything. Being able to do it from your phone is immediate. And then lastly, just saving time. We constantly get the feedback from our customers that each of the stakeholders that use SpecRite is saving significant time when it comes to admin tasks and responsibilities, and especially by being able to use SpecRite on the go. Victor, anything you want to add before we jump into the demo?
Yeah, no, just on the administration part of it, we have great streamlined tools for revision control, change control, quality inspections. That's kind of the main point. You have a one-stop shop for all your product packaging data that's needed, not only for the specification side of it, but also for vendor information, quality information, anything like that you guys will need. That's critical.
Perfect. With that, I'm going to jump over to the SpecRite demo, and we'll spend the bulk of today in the mobile app. But for those of you that have not seen SpecRite before, I want to first orient you with a snapshot of SpecRite, the desktop version. Because SpecRite is cloud-based, you just access it through a website. This is also the view that you would have on a tablet. So if your mobile access is not necessarily from a phone, but from a tablet, then it'll look similar to this. You'll see that in SpecRite, there are a number of different tools to manage your data across finished goods, specifications, suppliers, and quality. There are also tools to share this information through the exchange. And then there's various analytics, from finding similar size items and consolidation opportunities with the Like Item Finder to analyzing your data with reports and dashboards. One of the benefits within SpecRite as a whole and the mobile app is that it's very easy to locate information even if you don't know a part number or all the details. So if you're looking for an ingredient and maybe specifically you're looking for corn syrup, then you can narrow it down with this quick search and then drill into that specification. As I pull this up here, you'll see a sample spec within SpecRite, and I'm going to jump over to the mobile app so that you can see the display there. I'm going to change our background here so it's not too distracting. So I now have the SpecRite mobile app in front of you, which you access through Salesforce. We'll touch on a few different sections, but first, going into that a specification, just like you saw on the desktop version. If you are on the factory floor, out in the field, you want to reference a particular item. Right now, we're looking at a corrugated shipper. You can see the key details of that item. You have links to go directly to a supplier record, so you can see the details on that supplier. Maybe you need to pull up your contacts for that supplier. You can get that all directly from your phone. Jumping back over to this specification, you can also reference any documents that you have. So you'll see here that I have a handful of different files for this specific corrugated spec, and I'm going to view this PDF. So on my phone, I can look at this and check, are the dimensions correct? Is this the right representation? Also connected to this specification are any of the other details around logistics, quality, approvals, pricing, etc. Everything that you have listed on the item. When I click on this Where Used list, it's going to pull up all of the finished goods that use this particular shipper. So if you're in the quality assurance group and you see that there's a defect or a non-conformance with a particular item, you might want to immediately reference what are all of our SKUs that this is going to affect. So you can pull up this Where Used list and then click into any of these finished goods to see the details of that item. Victor, anything you want to add on the specification level?
No, I just want to kind of back up a little in terms of the linkages within SpecRite. So you can see all the specs are connected to all the suppliers. So we have the kind of a linkage. So when a record is created in SpecRite, it automatically has those linkages connected to, like he's showing right now, to Acme, and see all of the specifications you're procuring from Acme all in one place. So when we do get into the reporting aspect of it, we have the ability to link up the supplier information to spec information to quality to vendor information, pricing, anything like that that you see can all be reported on, slice and dice the data how you want.
Definitely agree. And that interconnectivity is a major benefit that our customers are finding in SpecRite. I want to touch on the Chatter tool. So as I click over here to Chatter, this is a place that you can send messages directly to your colleagues or your suppliers or partners. You can attach photos. So you can see in this example, yesterday, Matthew wrote a note to Victor asking him to look at this box that a customer complained about. I can open up the image. This photo was taken with Matthew's phone, and Victor actually received an email with this message. And so this comment that Victor replied with, he sent directly from his email. So you can communicate back and forth from within the app and email, and all of this is going to be connected directly to that SKU or specification or item that you're discussing.
Yeah, to add to that, so you have the communication, internal collaboration as well. And then you can also initiate any type of quality process. So if there is a corrective action needed for the supplier, can manage that in SpecRite as well, and also communicate all these notes and comments to the supplier so they're aware of the situation.
That's a great point, Victor. And I'm going to jump over to the quality section right now. So to orient us, I will go to the desktop version and over here to the quality record section. So you can add a quality event, whether that's a corrective action request, an audit, a customer complaint. We'll show you this on the mobile app as well. And you can create those, and then you'll see when I go to a sample specification here. So I'm on that C200 shipper that we were looking at on the mobile app. And it has a list of all of the quality events that have happened connected to the supplier as well. So jumping back to the mobile app, if you are once again on the plant floor or somewhere along the supply chain that you're actually witnessing or logging this particular failure nonconformance from the mobile app, you need to create a new corrective action. You can add these details, date it, connect it to a particular supplier, connect it to the item in discussion, and add the rest of these details. All of the forms within SpecRite are customizable to your needs. So what you're seeing here are what we've built out from experience and customer best practices, but certainly you may have forms yourself that you're going to want replicated. Showing one other example, jumping into a customer complaint. This may be about the vanilla ice cream and it's being reviewed right now. You can assign this particular event to an individual so then they can get tasks, notifications, as well as be a part of that corrective action or solution process. And that can automatically trigger emails as well as notifications within SpecRite.
Yeah, and another quality, I guess, something that comes into quality is also the testing, qualification, that verification of actual product or packaging. So a lot of our customers do in-house testing and third-party testing. Being able to capture this, not only the standards that you're running for those tests, being able to house that in SpecRite, but also being able to capture the data around those tests and being able to do some analysis after the fact. And on the sales side, as far as commercialization, being able to pull up your specs when you're visiting customers, seeing what new products are out there, being able to have the real-time version of that particular spec as well for your sales team. Some of the use cases kind of outside of just quality on the mobile app.
Certainly, and I was just navigating through a few sample specifications as we did that. We are getting close to the Q&A portion of the webinar, so if anybody has questions, I see a few have filtered in, but please feel free to add those. We'll touch on a couple areas before getting to that. One is the dashboards. So on the mobile app, you can pull up any of these dashboards that have been created, so you can see everything from status to a breakdown of items by location or type of packaging or products. I'll go to one more example. There's a quality dashboard, so you can see once again the status of various QA reports, what the outstanding tasks are for you or your team, a breakdown of defects by item, location, supplier. And these are all just a good quick reference that you can do directly from your phone. As we wrap up here on the mobile app, the last thing to point out is that you do have these quick buttons on the bottom. So if you do want to post a chatter message, you can attach files. If you want to upload a document, create a task for yourself or somebody else, you can do all that directly from the mobile app, and you can even create new specifications and items on the go. With that, I'm going to jump over to the Q&A. I'll pull up the questions here. So the first one is, can suppliers access SpecRite through the mobile app? Victor, I'll let you take that one.
Yes. Yeah, a couple questions on that. First, let's start with how you download the app. It is downloadable on any type of app exchange, not only through Salesforce's website, but also on the iOS, if let's say you have an iPhone or anything like that, compatible for all phones, I believe. And you should find it as a Salesforce One app.
And we can share out the links so that you can check it out yourself. Also would encourage you to reach out. We can set up a one-on-one demo and discussion, and set you up with a trial account so you can check it out yourself. The second question we had was, are there limitations to the app? So there are a few elements that are in the desktop version that you can't use in the mobile app. It's only a few of them when it comes to building more advanced reports, sharing information in bulk, and a few of the custom tools such as the like item finder, which I'll pull up here on the desktop version. This is a way to find similar items based on criteria such as dimensions. It searches through your existing specifications and identifies those items. So it's really just a couple. Usually we say 90% of what you can do on the desktop, you can do on the mobile app. The next question we have is, how would SpecRite integrate with our ERP, such as NetSuite or Oracle or SAP? So I can take that one also. So almost all SpecRite customers integrate with one of their software systems internally, ERPs being the most common. The integration can happen in a couple different ways, and I'm definitely not the technical expert on it, but it can be as simple as sending data from one system to the other in one direction through a flat file. You can essentially think of it as exporting a report from one of them and uploading it to the other. But many of our customers set up real-time sync, so that either can happen as activities such as a new item being created or a change being made to a bill of materials, and certain data points will be passed to their system, or on a daily or weekly basis. Some of the most common integrations are around passing inventory information, purchasing details, and other data that would make sense to live in your ERP, but you'd want to be able to view and report on in SpecRite. So depending on the specific ERP that you're using, we'd want to discuss in more detail, but certainly it's doable, and we are doing it with many of our customers. The last question I have here is, are you able to customize the SpecRite docs to mimic the layout of current intake docs in use? So yes, you can do that, and I'll show you briefly in the desktop version of SpecRite. But from any specification, you have this specification report button, and this will grab the data and documents in a given record and create a custom formatted PDF or Excel document. So this would have your logo, your formatting, and branding, and you'll see as it's loading here, it's grabbing all that information, and then it spit out this PDF with the details of the item. And if any of these data points were changed, the next time I clicked specification report, it would create a new version of that PDF or Excel document, which could match your current layout of an intake doc or another form.
Yeah, and that could be set up. The grab and go spec is what some of our customers call it. So those templates can be set up for each internal group as well. So packaging will need one, maybe procurement will need another template for the critical information they need. So that can be set up as well. But also on the customer facing and supplier sides, can create specific templates and exports for those scenarios as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Victor. Well, it looks like we are out of time. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate everybody joining. We will certainly share the recording with you after. We've got a couple requests for colleagues that couldn't make it, so we will send that out. If you have any other questions, please reach out to hello@specrite.com, and we will follow up with you as well. Have a great day.